Welcome to Business with Louis, the show where we explore the fascinating world of entrepreneurship and business. Today, we're going to dive into a crucial concept that every business leader and entrepreneur needs to understand: decision-making under uncertainty. Decision-making under uncertainty refers to the process of making informed decisions when the outcome is uncertain or unpredictable. This concept is essential in business because it acknowledges that we can't always have all the information we need to make a decision, and yet we still need to move forward. In fact, uncertainty is a natural part of the business landscape, and learning to navigate it effectively can be a key differentiator between success and failure. The concept of decision-making under uncertainty has its roots in economics and management science. One of the influential thinkers in this area is Frank Knight, an American economist who first introduced the concept of uncertainty in his 1921 book, Risk, Uncertainty, and Profit. Knight argued that uncertainty is a fundamental aspect of business decision-making, and that entrepreneurs and managers need to develop strategies to cope with it. So, what are the core principles and theories that underlie decision-making under uncertainty? One key concept is the idea of scenario planning, which involves imagining multiple possible futures and developing strategies to address each one. This approach helps businesses to prepare for different outcomes and to adapt quickly to changing circumstances. Another important principle is the concept of optionality, which refers to the ability to create options or choices that can be exercised in the future. By building optionality into their decision-making processes, businesses can reduce their exposure to uncertainty and increase their flexibility. Let's look at some real-world examples of decision-making under uncertainty in action. One notable case study is the story of Netflix, which began as a DVD rental service but ultimately transformed itself into a streaming giant. When Netflix first launched its streaming service, it was unclear whether customers would adopt the new technology or whether the company could negotiate licensing agreements with content providers. Despite these uncertainties, Netflix's CEO Reed Hastings made a bold decision to invest heavily in streaming, and the rest is history. Another example is the story of Airbnb, which began as a small startup but grew rapidly into a global platform for short-term rentals. When Airbnb first launched, it was unclear whether customers would trust the platform or whether regulators would allow it to operate. Despite these uncertainties, Airbnb's founders developed a flexible business model that allowed them to adapt quickly to changing circumstances, and they invested heavily in building a strong community of users. So, how can you apply decision-making under uncertainty in your own business or career? One key takeaway is the importance of scenario planning and optionality. By imagining multiple possible futures and developing strategies to address each one, you can reduce your exposure to uncertainty and increase your flexibility. Another important principle is the need to cultivate a mindset that's comfortable with ambiguity and uncertainty. This means being willing to take calculated risks, embracing experimentation, and learning from failure. In terms of practical tools and resources, there are many techniques that can help you make better decisions under uncertainty. One approach is to use decision trees or probability analysis to quantify the potential outcomes of different choices. Another approach is to use scenario planning software or simulation models to test different scenarios and develop strategies to address each one. Finally, it's essential to recognize that decision-making under uncertainty is not just about making individual decisions, but also about building a culture of adaptability and resilience within your organization. By fostering a mindset that's open to learning, experimentation, and continuous improvement, you can create an environment where uncertainty is seen as an opportunity for growth and innovation rather than a threat to be avoided. In conclusion, decision-making under uncertainty is a critical skill for any business leader or entrepreneur. By understanding the principles and theories that underlie this concept, you can develop a more robust decision-making process that's better equipped to handle the uncertainties of the business world. Remember, Uncertainty is not something to be feared, but rather something to be navigated with courage, creativity, and a willingness to learn. To apply decision-making under uncertainty in your own business or career, start by acknowledging the uncertainties surrounding your decisions. Develop a scenario planning approach that considers multiple possible futures and focus on building optionality into your decision-making process. Use data and analytics to inform your decisions and cultivate a mindset that's comfortable with ambiguity and uncertainty. Some additional resources you can use to learn more about decision-making under uncertainty include the book Anti-Fragile: Things That Gain from Disorder by Nassim Nicholas Taleb, which explores the concept of anti-fragility in decision-making. You can also check out the Harvard Business Review article, How to Make Better Decisions Under Uncertainty, which provides practical tips and strategies for managing uncertainty. That's it for today's Business with Louis. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and remember, every great business starts with action. Make your next move count.